The Series 63 from K&N will be for the 2012 and newer 6.4 owners out there who might be looking to make the switch to an aftermarket system but want to go with one of the most popular intakes currently available here on the site. Now the Series 63 will combine that rotomolded black plastic tube along with K&N's signature cotton gauze filter and will not require the use of any aftermarket tuning. Price point for the made in the USA system will hover right around that low $300 price point, and it is backed by K&N's signature million-mile warranty. So intakes like the K&N here are one of those great first mods because they're easy enough for anyone to install, and they do give you some pretty instantaneous results in regards to underhood appearance, power, and sound benefits. Now we don't have any specific in-house dyno numbers for this particular kit, but K&N claims 6.4 owners will see upwards of 20 plus horsepower when the Series 63 is installed. And I will say it's going to be absolute best case scenario for most owners out there without the use of any additional tuning. But outside of that, K&N will also help deliver a very cool look under the hood in my opinion. And maybe one of my favorite parts about something like this is the added growl under hard acceleration that comes thanks largely in part to the open filter design. Now speaking of that filter, you are receiving one of K&N's signature cotton gauze oiled filters. This thing is washable, it is reusable over time, and this is going to save you a bunch of money as opposed to buying a new filter every few thousand miles. With this, you wash it, you re-oil it, reinstall it, and you're good to go. Now the filter itself is going to reside in the included heat shield here, and the job of this guy is obviously to help block out any of that hot engine bay air. We all know heat is the enemy of performance, and that's the goal of the included heat shield. Briefly covered the rotomolded plastic tube earlier, but I'm a big fan of the rotomolded plastic designs in particular because just a little bit less prone to that heat soak. Going back to the heat is the enemy of performance. That's why I'm a big fan of the plastic tubes. Last but not least, guys, as you can see, we've got our couplers, we have our weather stripping to help seal that heat shield to your hood, and then finally all of your clamps needed for the installation. Again, guys, the K&N kit here has been made in the USA. It has been backed by K&N's ridiculous million-mile warranty, but that just goes to show you how much they believe in their product and just is there for you in case you run into any issues. Now the Series 63 is not currently CARB certified, at least at the time of this video, but it does have an overwhelming number of 5-star reviews on the site. As always, guys, I'm going to encourage you to read up on some of those reviews, check out some of the customer submitted images before ultimately pulling the trigger, just to hear what other Hemi owners are saying about running this kit on their ride. Now, as far as your install is concerned, well, this one's gonna be pretty straightforward overall, using nothing more than some basic hand tools, a few screwdrivers, and a socket set. But with that said, site's still gonna call it soft 2 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter, maybe an hour of your time to complete from start to finish. But to give you a better idea of how things will go down on your Hemi at home, here's an American Muscle customer to walk you through the job now.
Okay, here's the tools I'm going to use for installation. I've got these 10 snips. I like to use that to cut hoses, but you could use an X-Acto knife or a sharp blade box cutter. And this is a 5/32 Allen wrench. I've got an O-ring remover. I've got a number 14 wrench, a number 10 wrench, a number 8 socket, and let's see, a number 10 socket and a number 8 socket. I've got a small screwdriver. I got a 1/4 inch extension. I've got a conversion from a 3/8 to a 1/4 inch, and then I got a bit for a 3/8 goes in my drill. Make things a little simpler. And also got a little bit of mineral oil. I found that is going to be pretty. Sometimes getting parts in there like the air temperature sensor can be a little rough, so I'm going to use that if I need to. First, what you want to do is change the battery, or undo the battery cable. So in my car, it's in the trunk, and you want to undo this, take the thing off. I like putting a piece of cloth under it just to make sure it doesn't touch the battery again. And so that's the first step you want to do. Now that I got the battery disconnected, I'm going to take off the valve cover on this side, the header cover. And for this engine, there's just 2 attach points. Should just pop right off there. Okay, now I'm going to remove this temperature sensor airflow temperature sensor and this vent hose going to the crankcase. So first I'm gonna take a little Phillips screwdriver. I'm gonna insert it here and just kind of push that tab in to get it released, and then just pull off the connector, put that out of the way. And then this hose, ought to be able to just work off pretty easy. Okay, done. Okay, next I'm gonna loosen up the gasket going to my throttle body. I like to leave them on just a little bit so I don't have to worry about it coming, getting lost, etc. Okay, now I'm gonna remove this bolt that attaches the airbox to the core support, and I'm gonna use the same ratchet with extension and a 3mm socket on there. And don't lose these screws if you ever intend to use your stock airbox again. Like one of these screws is $5 at the dealer. Real pain. All right, one bolt and a hose is all that's holding this. Two hoses rather. Make sure I don't throw that around. Holding this airbox in. So I can go ahead and lift this out. Pull that hose back. Yep. All right. Now notice this stock air filter has that rubber pad right there. That helps steady it in the engine compartment. If you look over here, down below the water container, there's a hole, and that's where the heat shield's also got a rubber piece that'll fit into that. So now I want to get the stock air temperature sensor, intake air temperature sensor, out of the stock air filter or air intake. And I'm just going to twist a little bit and work that out of there, and there it is. See the blue part? That's probably an RTD measuring temperature. I'm going to put this out of the way. I'm going to go ahead and install this in the air intake because I don't risk damage of it laying around here on the table. So I've already put the grommet in the hole on the air intake, and the first thing I need to do is I need to remove this O-ring right here because it won't fit in this new air intake very well with it on. So I've got this O-ring removal tool, and I'm going to work that down in behind it carefully and just roll that up. There we go. So put that in my drawer of I need to use it one day. It'll come in handy. Okay, now based on some experience in the past, I'm going to take a little mineral oil and I'm going to just put a really light coat in there. I want to get enough to get it in, but not enough so it falls out, right? So I'm going to put just enough down in the bottom of the grommet so that it'll go down in there all the way. So when you get the air intake, get this in the air intake, air wants to flow through it this way. You want to align it, and I'll show you that again here in a minute. So I'm going to work this down in there, and I don't want to break the connector. And what's also happening here, I see, is that grommet's turning. So I'm going to try and pin it in the back. All right, now if you can see, I've got that air intake pretty well seated into that grommet. Got it all the way bottomed out. Now I want to make sure that the air intake temperature sensor opening is lined up with the flow in the air tube. And that looks pretty good. If you can see that. So here's the heat shield. Now, last thing you want to do is have the engine still. Heat up your air on your filter and heat up the air coming into your intake. So this seal just kind of helps it seal into the engine compartment. I've already put it on, but there's just a metal clip inside this seal, and it just snaps right onto the heat shield around the edges, as so. And it comes a little longer than you need, and I've just used a pair of 10 snips to cut that up at the right length. You don't want to have it on this tab. Next thing I want to do is put this rubber leg here that's going to go into the hole I showed you in the engine compartment that the stock air filter used for stability. So it's going to go on the outside. I'm going to put this larger washer on this bolt. This bolt takes a 10mm wrench. So I'm going to put that in and get that snugged up. Got a metal insert, so it shouldn't And it's going to hold tight instead of. So I like getting that a little overhand tight. Okay, so that's complete now. So I've got this converging section for the air intake. The filter will mount right on this end here. So I'm going to insert this in on the tab side of the heat shield, and I'm going to line this up. I've got 2 Allen head type screws. I'm going to get that little lock washer on there, and then this regular washer. Make sure it doesn't come out. And then I just got to line up the threads, insert holes here. Start them off. And go ahead and take them down a little bit, all the way, just so I've got to tighten with the Allen wrench. Okay, so now I've got this 5/32 Allen wrench. I'm going to put that in the screws, tighten these up. And there we go. Okay, next on the heat shield, I'm going to put this mounting bracket that goes in the bolt where the stock air filter was mounted on the front there. So I'm going to put it like this. Okay, now I'm going to put the mounting bracket. I'm going to take this bolt, put a washer on it. I'm going to put the spacer. And then I'm going to take the bracket, make sure which side's up here. And I'm going to mount it. There's the rubber thing on the bottom. And mount it just like this. I'm going to put another washer on it, and then you get the nylon self-locking bolt, and start that on there. Okay, now I'm going to tighten up this bolt. I'm going to hold this with a wrench on this side, and use my drill for the other. I'm going to tighten that up slowly. Okay, I want to make sure I've got this in the right orientation. So that needs to go up this way, like that. I'm going to go ahead and tighten this up because you've got a pretty big slot there to align it. Imagine it's going to be too short. I'm going to finish this up. Okay, got that good and snugged up. Now I've got to work with the hoses. These hoses come in longer sections. I already cut them to length. This goes on the crankcase. So on one side you get this reducer tube. You're going to want to make sure you've got enough length in this so that it can also accept the other end coming from the other length of the fitting coming from the crankcase. So I'm going to go ahead and stick this in for now. And I'm going to take the air intake tube, and I've got this elbow connector, and I'm going to gently screw that in there so I don't foul the threads on this. And the way this goes, I'm going to leave that just kind of like that in case I need to adjust it when I put it in the engine compartment. Okay, so I've got the elbow on there, and I'm going to go ahead and put the this tube I've already cut to length on there. I'll stick that in the connector like so. And you can see the K&N on the front. This side's the throttle body, and here's a reducer tube hose. So put the clamp on there first. So I'll just slide it over. Now, turn on my clamps. If that's the front, I can get to that tightening bolt there. So I'm going to go ahead and stick this on. sure I've got it on there enough to get the clamp on it and have a good connection. So now I'm going to tighten up this 8mm screw here, bolt. Get that clamp on there. Make sure I don't have it set on there straight. Quite straight. Looks like it's pretty good all the way around now. Go ahead and cinch that up a little bit. Okay. Don't want to get those too tight, right? You want to cut into your hose. And I'm going to go ahead and connect this bellows tube to the other end. Get a clamp on for that. Make sure I got it going the right way. And stick one of those on there. Alright, and I can tighten that up. I've got that adjusted right. That's pretty good. Okay. And we're ready to go to the engine compartment. Alright, next thing I want to do is go ahead and get this heat shield into the engine compartment. I want this rubber grommet, or rubber fitting. So I'm going to have to kind of figure out how to work this in. Okay, just like that. And I'm going to just kind of work this fitting into the hole that the air filter was, stock air filter was. There it goes, snap right in. Now I'm going to get that mounting screw. Pop that on. That was a 8mm socket, by the way. Yeah. Only danger about these screws, I don't want to get them too tight, so I'm going to just make sure I'm not getting it too tight with this wrench so I can get a hand feel on it. Okay, that's good. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put these two hoses, one going onto the air filter. All right, now I want to get these hoses to fit in here. See if I can get those. I'm going to put this on this thing here first so I can bend that hose a little bit. Yeah, put it on the heat shield side first. Okay, got this other clamp that I hadn't put on there. Go ahead and put that on. Get this hose onto the throttle body. I'm going to seat that up all the way to that. I'll go ahead and tighten that one. Make sure all these clamps and hoses are meshing up to the hardware. All right, that'll work. I'll tighten this one. All right, that's on there pretty good. Got one more clamp. All right, I'm happy with that. I'm going to put this adapter tube onto the crankcase vent. There, put that on. Okay, I'm going to get that hose that goes to the intake onto this fitting. There, like that. Okay, I'm going to take this air connector, or the air temperature sensor connector, and mount that back onto the sensor with a click. Get the engine cover back on. All right, here we go. I'm going to put this one on that way so I can get to it pretty easy. Mount the air filter like so. Make sure I've got that mounted up to it pretty good. It's on there pretty good. I'll leave it like that. All right. And we're done.
So if you are looking to go with one of the most popular intakes on the site for your 6.4 Hemi at home, then be sure to check out the K&N Series 63 right here at AmericanMuscle.com.